Hey everybody, it's Dr. Robertson. I'm real sorry for the quality of this video, but I'm having to do it on my phone just so that I can get something uploaded to you today to touch base about the eating and sleeping disorders. So hopefully you have had an opportunity to pull up the PowerPoint presentation and the notes. It might be that I go ahead and add an extra day just to process eating disorders. I have an activity that I like to do with the class, and so probably on Tuesday we'll come back and talk a little bit more about eating disorders, but I don't want to sort of disrupt the flow of where we are in the class by postponing the exam. Nothing that we cover on Tuesday will obviously be included on your exam. It won't be any new information anyway, just sort of processing some of the information. This is going to be the fastest lecture ever because I'm not even going to try to figure out how to pull up my PowerPoint things. I tried to get the Panopto room, but it's the last minute. So I was not able to get it. It's reserved. So I'm sorry that I have to do this. I really miss you guys. Kind of hate this, but after Thursday, I should be back and not have to miss anymore, except for one later on, way down in the road in November. So anyway, here are the things that I really want you to focus on, pay attention to, and get ready for your exam on Thursday. Your exam is multiple choice. It's in MindTap. You'll do it online. I just had a great question about how to study for it, whether I should point people in the direction of their detailed descriptions in the textbook or whether they should focus on the lectures. And the reality is it doesn't matter that much. You just need to make sure you know where things are in the book so that if you need to look something up, you can. A lot of the questions are going to be applied anyway, so it's not going to be so much regurgitating information, but it'll be a lot more applying those concepts, case studies and descriptions and general information like that. Okay, so what I want you to focus on from the PowerPoint presentation is first, there are several YouTube video links embedded within the PowerPoint presentation that illustrate the concepts for this content, and I really would encourage you to go out and watch those YouTube videos. I don't think any of them are longer than 5 or 10 minutes, so it's really worth looking at because I think that they really help. So the things you need to make sure you remember are, when we talk about eating disorders, one of the things that we talk about is binge eating. And so binge eating is eating in a way that feels very uncontrolled, that is distressing for the person, and often people who engage in binge eating behaviors will engage also in some compensatory behaviors, so they'll feel bad and they will do something to try to account for some of the calories that they've taken in. Binge eating features prominently in bulimia nervosa. It also is in binge eating disorder, which is a newer disorder. And then there is a binging and purging subtype of anorexia nervosa. And I think that's one of the most surprising things that people find when we talk about this unit, is that binging and purging is not exclusive to bulimia nervosa. There is a binging and purging subtype of anorexia nervosa. The way you tell the difference is based on the weight. So if a person is within 10-ish% of normal body fat percentage for a particular height, then that's probably bulimia nervosa. So generally they're around 10% within normal range. Anorexia nervosa is severely underweight, but also engaging in the binging and purging types of behaviors. When we talk about anorexia nervosa, it's really important to note that there is a lot of comorbidity with major depression. I think the comorbidity rate is like 70% of people with anorexia nervosa at some point qualify for a diagnosis of major depressive disorder. The primary treatment modality, or the primary step in treatment for anorexia nervosa, is gaining weight, getting somebody to eat. For most of the eating disorders, the preferred treatments are either IPT, interpersonal psychotherapy, or CBT, most commonly CBT. CBT is manualized, and so that's the reason there are lots of efficacy studies and effectiveness studies for CBT. So CBT is really commonly used in eating disorders. of all the disorders that we talk about in the semester, it's really important to note that anorexia nervosa is the most deadly disorder that we will talk about. More deadly than major depression, more deadly than bipolar, more deadly than ADHD. And it's a result of organ failure and heart attacks that can occur. So the eating disorders can be caused by a variety of things, like all of the other things that we've talked about, where they have the diathesis, and then you have the stressors that push people up over the threshold of diagnostic criteria. There is a good video on the social pressure that's associated with body image, and sort of part of the reason that our culture really hyper fixates on body image, and that's one of the reasons we have this as a disorder. Sorry, my computer keeps dinging. Family influence is another major contributor. And then with most of these disorders, people find that they're sort of naturally reinforcing. You feel control in an area of your life where other things in your life might feel very out of control, and that's a very syntonic feeling. And so people sometimes find that the process is really reinforcing, and then it becomes deeply reinforcing, and then it becomes very, very difficult to break out of the cycle. There's a cycle that's posted in that PowerPoint presentation for your reference. So the next thing that the PowerPoint slides go into is obesity. There are several slides that talk about the problem of obesity in our country. I think that the thing to note is that it's rapidly on the rise. So we have a obesity epidemic in this country. And then when we talk about treating obesity, often we focus on treating children because it's more effective to treat children and to treat family systems than it is to treat adults who are already obese. And we usually treat those with behavioral interventions and cognitive behavioral interventions. So teaching people what's healthy, how to eat, and all of that information. So let's see. Know that obesity is growing, and obesity is often associated with night eating syndrome. So sometimes folks who present as obese, I think it's like 7 to 10%, also have night eating syndrome, which is waking in the night and eating, or not waking and eating, which is a parasomnia. So parasomnias and dysomnias are the next sort of broad category. So again, I'd ask you to read all these things in the PowerPoint slides and watch the videos. But the dysomnias are difficulties with sleep. So insomnia, narcolepsy, hypersomnolence. With narcolepsy, you sometimes see cataplexy, and I think there is an illustrative example of this on the PowerPoint slides, but cataplexy is loss of muscle control, and so that's someone who has narcoleptic with cataplexy has often paralysis that occurs almost instantaneous when they fall asleep, and sleep can come on very unexpectedly. So we've got insomnia, narcolepsy, hypersomnolence, which is sleeping too much. Then we also have parasomnias, and so parasomnias include abnormal behaviors during sleep. And so those are things like sleep terrors, sleepwalking, nightmare disorders. And then there's a new disorder called REM sleep behavior disorder. Sometimes we used to think that it was exclusively associated with taking hypnotic sleep medications, and so taking a hypnotic sleep medication and then engaging in some strange behavior. We know now that it's not exclusively related to that, so there are some people who just have these complex behaviors while they're in REM sleep and do not remember what they've done. And so there's another good example of video of that, where it talks about how some folks have woken up in the morning and found that they've eaten coffee grounds on a half a frozen pizza that they never cooked. So, or they do things like pay bills in their sleep, or engage in sexual behavior, or drive cars, or sometimes it can be pretty scary, the kinds of things that people do with this sleep behavior. So I hope that you will go ahead and look over the PowerPoint slides. If you have questions, send me an email. I should have email access pretty good tomorrow afternoonish after I actually arrive in Mexico. I'll be doing some grading and things like that. Then I'll also have some access during the day, but we'll be meeting a lot during those 2 days, see Thursday and Friday. And then I probably will not have access on Saturday or Sunday because we're actually going to be out in a city and I won't have my computer with me on Saturday and then traveling on Sunday. So let me know if you have questions. Shoot me an email earlier rather than later, and good luck on your exams. And if my past classes are an indication, I expect you'll do very well. And I will see you on Tuesday. And I miss you, and I'm sorry, but my little boy was throwing up a lot, and it was super gross. And also, I didn't really want to bring that into the classroom with you, and we didn't have anybody who could take care of him. So take care of yourselves. Try not to get this disgusting sickness, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.